Welcome, everybody. It's Monday night, and it's time for Vampire the Masquerade Philly by Night. Welcome to the playground. I'm Pixie Phoenix. I'm a full-time variety streamer here on Twitch. I'm joined tonight by Nox, our storyteller, Skot, who plays Idaho, Zack, who plays Vic. I'm Alice, and our Martha is running just a little late. So, invite our chat to stay active. We do answer. Yes. What? Getting the stare down, evil eye. How is Monday treating you guys?
I mean, coming up with new ways to torture y'all and throw some additional curves in the mix.
It's a good thing because we don't have any of those yet.
I mean, it's not like anybody left you a note on your car.
I've been missing those, I feel like I'm neglected. Then whoever was leaving those notes doesn't care anymore.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure they'll visit you while you're sleeping.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, been working on catching up on backlog of this stuff, working on, trying to set up some additional stuff for some resources for you guys, and just keeping on.
Oh, I know, it's a long weekend.
It's not like the old weekends when, you could get through it by,
I don't know, doing stuff.
Binging massive amounts of uppers and then just sleeping all week.
Mine was, I had my booster done, and man, that shit knocked me on my ass again.
Oh yeah, yeah. The first time I got my shot, I was like, oh god, this sucks. But it was the second and third times where it's just like, oh god, I have COVID again.
No
so
thanks.
do we want to give Martha a couple minutes to get here, since
Of course
she was not here for the last session and needs to be filled in on the recap of you guys and your
shenanigans,
scandalous flyering.
How's everybody in chat doing? I did a kind of short impromptu stream and played some City of Heroes earlier.
Are you cold
That was
enough
nice.
Are you cold enough yet?
Yeah, it's chilled down back here.
Okay.
Quit hovering. Yeah, I'm still hearing an echo. It's really bugging the shit out of me.
Yeah, I noticed it too.
Am I the only person who doesn't get to hear the echo? What the fuck?
And I don't hear it on everybody.
Yes, Nox doesn't. No, I haven't heard the Nox echo. I hear an echo for me.
Yeah, definitely for me.
An echo for Pixie.
I hear one sometimes on mine. It's very subtle, like I hear it right now. And normally I don't hear it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something with Roll20, because I've checked all my settings.
No, it couldn't possibly be something with Roll20.
It makes no sense to me how we can, I haven't changed my setup at all.
Nope.
Nothing's changed.
Hey, Vancouver, how's it going?
And yet.
Dun-dun. Got new emotes.
Awesome.
Oh, that reminds me, I need to go pause. Sound alerts. So nothing. Dashboard. Pause. Okay. Cool. That way, nothing scares the shit out of me. Oh.
Nothing too interesting in my book. I wrapped up the new game plus of Horizon Zero Dawn
Yeah.
on hard mode.
Nice, nice.
So I unlocked the little face paint and the focus, mods and stuff. But
Yeah,
and then I started Guardians of the Galaxy. So didn't get too far into it.
I finished the second one, which was a lot of fun right up until it just went right off the fucking rails.
Ooh.
Like, it was one of those things where it was like, okay, I didn't. Is this the direction we're actually going? Really? Like,
It'll be a while before I get to play it.
There was a the closest that I can come to describing the ending of that game is the same way that I felt the first time I stepped out of the theater watching House of a Thousand Corpses. Like, I wasn't angry per se, but I felt like I'd watched 85% of one movie and then they clipped the reel and put the last 15% of another movie on there that just happened to have the same lead actress. And I was just like,
Master Pancake did that once. They do these things called choose your own pancakes, where people bring their own DVDs to the theater and make their own pitches, and then the audience chooses the movie, and so they have to riff whatever movie audience members bring in. They have no control over it. But there was one night where it was kind of a dead split, and they ended up playing half of one movie and then the second half of the other movies.
It was Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. And I don't remember what the other one was, but I remember it was half Ninja Turtles and half some other movie that was just completely random, had nothing to do with it. But
wow.
They were like, "We're never doing this again."
Yeah, that was the one and only time they did that. They're like, it's way too hard.
Well, I am getting ready to do my first subathon. So, a little nervous about that, but hoping it goes well. I didn't hear echo there.
That's not a fetish thing, is it?
No, not anymore.
Oh, get out those bingo cards. Man, I was all ready to sign up until you said it wasn't a fetish thing. What the hell?
Well, I did. Let me see. I'll pull up. Where did I post it? So some of the stuff I came up with, if I can find my post. Unless it didn't post properly. Oh, there it is. Picture. Damn it. This is a problem with Facebook. It doesn't show you anything in order anymore.
Disney Plus just pinged me and said 6 fan favorites are on there, and it showed Daredevil,
Okay.
Jessica Jones,
Okay.
Luke Cage, and I was like, yes. And then it showed the Defenders, and I was like,
Oh, so you don't like it when people work together?
The Defenders was better than Iron Fist. Iron Fist, the first season was so horrible to sit through that it just kind of sucked that Defenders revolved so much around his character.
Like, oh, really?
That's what it felt like to me.
See, and I didn't mind Iron Fist. Like everybody else I know, like hated Iron Fist. I actually didn't think Iron Fist was that bad. I just thought
First season, I wasn't a big fan of. Second season, it seemed like they really redeemed themselves, and they even like made it a point to count to like state how lame season one, and kind of some underhanded things like that they would say,
Yeah.
they kind of be like, oh yeah, we know the writing sucked last season, but we're
For
trying
me,
to make up for it.
For me, it wasn't the writing. For me, it was the fight choreography. Like particularly compared to the fight choreography in both
Daredevil,
all the rest of them.
in Daredevil, in Luke Cage, and then of course in the at the time period. I remember it was around the time period when like the Winter Soldier came out,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, why can't the fight choreography be like that?
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be the best. He's supposed to be the best martial artist on the planet, and then he got his ass kicked by fucking Shang-Chi. Like that actually had really good fight choreography.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
All right, I'm impatient. Let's get this started. Because as soon as I
Yep.
start it, that
Never
frame will show up.
fails.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
me not starting it has actually prevented her from showing it. So.
It's the whole restroom situation. Minute you get up, that's when that damn waiter shows up.
Oh man, I just piss on their shoes while being like, yes, I needed more water. Welcome everybody to our Monday night 5th edition chronicle for Vampire the Masquerade, Philly by Night. Starting this one off, aren't we?
Oh boy.
This is session 51. Let us start with a brief recap on the events of last week, as last week actually quite a bit happened.
Mm-hmm.
Ended on a bit of a cliffhanger that we kind of had to finagle our way through. As Idaho arrived on the scene, Vic was attempting to figure out what he was going to do with the longshoreman who had put Robin through a window, basically, or through a mirror, anyhow. What could have been a slugfest for the ages, so to speak, turned into a more of a legal drama when the cops showed up and decided that they were going to arrest and apprehend him. As everybody headed off in their own directions, Idaho fed his blood to Robin and gained a new fan.
Mr. Popularity.
The next day, the members of the coterie and the ghouls
I'm
all pitched
looking
in
for a friend.
to attempt to fix up Robin's bar some, so that it was at least operable. The coterie decided that their best course of action was to try to take the fight, at least in some sense, to the Northeast Anarchs. And as such, Vic and Alice decided to print up a bunch of flyers with the security footage from the longshoreman who was released from police custody, and go paper it all around Northeast Philadelphia. Meanwhile, Idaho got in touch with Sonny and trying to get information about how the longshoreman got out. Wanted to know, found himself being in turn queried, as Sonny wanted to know where Mariah was and why the Hakata were searching for information about Vic. Heading to Northeast Territory, our threesome, that's not a mark on the bingo card, headed to Guilt to talk to Sabine, and after having a conversation where they attempted to put her at ease, they left, and on their way out, they found that they were being watched by the librarian. As they ventured out into the Philadelphia night and started to flyer the nearby area, Alice, as they were wandering around, found herself looking at and realizing that they had come across the warehouse where she'd had her encounter several weeks past. Deciding to investigate, the trio found themselves in perhaps a bit more of a horror story than they were particularly used to being, as voices called out to them from the dark and horrifying things were found hanging off of the roof. Deciding to make the better part of valor, the three of them ran back to the car, drove off into the Philadelphia
Yep.
night.
Remember those voices were telling us, leave, this place is scary, go away. Remember? That's how I remember it.
I don't remember that at all, and neither does the oil note on your front of your car.
Mm.
Oh yeah, didn't we take that with us?
Did you guys?
I think I did. I wanted to see if the Tremere could find out anything from it. So that was my thought process on that.
Got it.
He grabbed it while he was doing the hood slide, you know, to
Yeah.
he swipe, let's go.
So, as we start on this new Philadelphia evening, the skies are clear and the temperature is much chillier than it would be for normally this time of year. Everybody out on the streets is bundled up. Hoodies and stocking caps abound, many bearing the likeness of Gritty.
I'm looking for a friend.
And that is what our kindred wake up to. Now, Al, of course, wakes up a bit earlier than everyone else. So, Al, as the evening begins, how do you start? What is your, with this little bit of extra time, what do you do?
Probably keep up with my usual routine and check on Ruby and Lane, see if there's, you know, if they want to have a meal or a meal. And just kind of checking in with them, since Ruby kind of has been giving me the impression that I'm not spending enough time with her, taking her seriously enough. However, I want to make her feel like, you know.
Well, tonight Ruby and Lane headed to the club early because they wanted to continue to do some work on Robin's bar. So the three of them are there. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could join them there and assist.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because presuming I'm waking up with them not around, I would probably text for that information and then head over to the club.
Okay, so you're already heading to the club.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're working on the bar with the rest of the ghouls and of course the thin blood. So at this point, Idaho, when you wake up, you had spent your previous night at the apartment with Brutus and Robin. So where are you spending your night?
Anywhere that's close and safe in the car. I'm assuming. I mean, is Ten Toes still being monitored by the cops?
We would say that you have not. Nobody's really inquired about it in a minute. So at this point, you could probably head there and check it out. I would tell you that if you went there, there is not a there's like still tape over it and stuff like that. It's not being actively. There's no guard posted or anything like
Okay.
that.
It was just one of my places. I've obviously got a few places around the west side that I use, so I would have just used one of my places.
Okay. So when you first start off this evening, what's your first thing? Do you head by 10 Toes? Is that one of what you want to say that you do to check it out, or?
Yeah, I might as well drive by just to kind of get a little refresher on what's going on there on my way to the apartments.
Okay, when you drive by, as I noted, it's not like there's a guard there or anything like that. The yellow tape that's been over it has long since kind of. It's not in where it should be. Let's just put it that way. It's kind of fallen and faded down a little bit. But from where you stand, and you can easily get up on your car and look over the side or driving by, whatever. There's nobody there. The grounds have not been confiscated or anything like that. It looks basically the same as what your previous experiences have been there. And there's certainly nothing there that's preventing you. It's not like there's a new lock on there or anything like that. So there's nothing that's preventing you from getting in.
Well, I guess without drawing it out, I'll just pull in and kind of do a little walk around and check it out.
When you get in there, it looks very much the same as the last time you saw it as a crime scene, but it has a kind of griminess to it, almost as if nobody's basically been here. So all of the blood that's been here, has kind of settled in. There's kind of a smell that's kind of gross. There's a kind of general state of disrepair. It almost looks like it could be on the verge of being abandoned or condemned. It is not. It's not unsuitable for an undiscerning kindred, but it is. Let's just say it has seen better days as an actual functional building and business.
Do we have cleaning supplies and stuff there at the 10 Toes, or is it pretty much just empty?
There are cleaning supplies, but not enough to tackle like this big of a project. I mean, we're talking needing to scrub off the driveway, needing to clean up. Like this is it would require somebody to actually spend some time.
All right, sounds like a ghoul thing. It sounds like a Clyde thing. So
Oh, damn it!
Clyde, remember that time I saved your ass? Well, go clean up 10 Toes. I'm gonna hold that over him all the time. And I can't hear you, Martha.
Is everything plugged in? Check your audio settings, make sure it's the right
That's really
input, because we've all been having tricky stuff with audio tonight.
He already froze up and had to restart one. So I guess what I'll do is maybe just take a few pictures just to kind of.
No.
There we go.
There it goes.
Yeah, no, it's getting to be a tricky little day. They're like, we're gonna do upgrades, and then
The upgrade equals right.
yeah, that upgrade means we've gotten rid of all of your settings. Now you have to do it all over again.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, it would be beneficial to the coterie. I think Clyde needs to go into business, and I think a biohazard crime scene accident business is the perfect expansion of our little empire. And then he gets to make most of the profit.
Clyde's like, fuck that, I'll just go work for the cam.
Well, shit, pack your bags, son.
No.
We don't need
Clyde,
that kind of
get
energy.
it. You don't get it, man. You don't clean up anymore. You get other people to do all the nasty messing.
He goes, this is still cleaning up.
No, man, you get to be a boss.
Of cleaning up. Like, this is just being like, I'm the boss janitor. He's like, this is not a better situation.
So yeah,
I mean, it's a lucrative one, man. I think cleanup crews make tons of fucking money. Like, it's true, right? Like,
I have no idea.
Idaho.
I don't know the going rate on a hit.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that. At least that's what I've been told to say by my attorney. So yeah, I'll just take a few pictures, and I'm also going to, just for funsies, I'm going to gather up all of the yellow police tape and throw it in the dumpster.
Okay, so you're basically just trying to make it actually look like it's not a crime scene.
Yeah.
To the best
I'm
of your...
also curious if there's going to be more yellow tape back, another time. Like, are they really still concerned about this site or not? So I'm just going to gather it up and throw it in the dumpster, take a few pictures, and then I'll head over to the apartments.
Okay, so are you heading to the apartments or to the club?
Well, I've always thought that I park at the apartment and then go to the club from
Okay.
there. That's kind of always been my thought process.
Okay, Vic, how are you starting your evening? This is the first night in a while where you don't have any guests in your apartment, other than, Romano and Harvey, but they're already on their way to the club to start getting ready for open.
Yeah, I guess head over there, see what's going on over there, see if the bar they still need help with Robin's bar or anything.
Okay, got it. Michael,
Mm.
when you wake up, what is your first order of business?
Well, see how hungry I am, obviously. I think I have to do that.
Oh, yeah, I think we all do. I don't think any
I
of us
did not.
Yes.
None of us did it.
I was going to say, I have not called for
Mm-mm.
housekeeping just yet. I was getting there.
Oh, I thought you were going to give us a buy.
Uh,
No, there's no bias.
I'm kidding. I don't want that. Make us roll twice.
what's it called? Waking up this morning. So technically last night, in the play was where are we in the game right now?
So for you don't have any knowledge of what has happened. When last you were there, you took off after Teddy and the two other kindred who were, let's say, escorting him away.
Okay.
Of course, that tale has yet to be told.
We'll play that another time.
Yes.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Okay, so now we are the next day after that whole fucking thing.
Would be the night after that, as you did not come home from doing what you were doing that night, and your coterie had an adventure of their own that I'm sure they will love to tell you about. It's very handy.
So we're a night. We're 2 nights away from the last we spoke.
Yes.
Got it. I'm going to get dressed, and do we still have Premier guests?
I mean, you still have the Tremere living in the apartments, yes.
Yeah. I would like to go and talk to what's his face, the head dude.
Jean-Baptiste.
Yeah, Jean-Baptiste. Thank you.
So when you go and knock on the door, you are not greeted by Jean-Baptiste, but by a much shorter, black-haired woman, Marie.
Do I recognize her?
I mean, she's had a little bit of a haircut, but that's about it.
Oh, you said, what was her name?
Marie.
Marie. Okay, it is Marie with the haircut.
She opens the door and looks and says, "Good evening. Jean-Baptiste is currently attending other matters. Is there something that I can help you with?"
Perhaps. In general, my question is for all of you. So if there's a moment where you are all free and willing to sit down, that I would like to ask you a few questions. Let me know when I can. But until then, how good are you at daunt? Not daunt. What's it called? The dominate, right? Is that it?
For me?
Domination.
Yeah, domination.
Let me
It
check
is
that out.
it's a discipline, yes.
Yeah, that's the discipline.
Her eyes kind of narrow, and she goes, "This is a strange line of inquiry. Is there something to this, or is there?"
I have found myself to be wanting in certain aspects, and I feel the necessity to improve myself.
Marie gives a short, curt nod and says, "There are those among us who are quite skilled in these things that you speak of." Says, "However, at this moment, our whole effort and concern is finding Adelaide."
You're lost. Yes. We are still working on that as well. I was just also wanted to ask if you have any updates from your end.
She shakes her head. She goes, "If you could find out where Adelaide is and bring her to us," she says, "I am sure that would certainly convince one of us to begin to assist you."
Thank you so much for your time. And I'm sorry there haven't been anything. Hopefully, I can return back to you with better news when we do meet. Please
She
let me know when that time will be, is good for you. And your
she nods curtly and she goes, "I will pass the message along to Jean Baptiste."
thank you so much. Have a good
And
evening.
and with that, she steps back into the apartment and closes the door.
Cool. Then I'm gonna go to the coterie, see where everybody is, see if everybody's in the conference room where we've started to have our morning meetings and coffee and things like that.
So, now that everybody has conducted their first order of business, time for housekeeping.
I must re-roll, I take it.
Yes.
Okay.
Damn it.
It's a good thing you
Damn
can't, like,
it.
critical fail. Like, it's just a pass or fail. You roll
Guys,
a
should
one,
we
you
just like roll up and go get some takeout or something? You know, hit up that homeless encampment? Because I think we're all fucked here.
Oh no, we're not that
Man.
hungry yet. No.
Man,
We're good.
everybody woke up a little more hungry.
Rather
Because
one
Angry.
more
nobody had a good night's rest, a
Angry.
good day's rest.
when the highest roll is a 3.
Ooh, Al is a little more than just hangry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Because I didn't get a chance to eat after our cliffhanger.
Ooh.
Al,
You should have ate the hand.
I wish you guys
Don't
would
bite
know,
the hand that sees.
street food.
just pluck the
Al.
eyeballs off.
Okay, I feel like I've lost so much. I
Yeah,
need to read all the things.
it was so weird. It was so freaking weird.
Al, when you are standing there at the bar trying to help, and it is really difficult to focus.
Well,
on
if
what
I'd known
you're-
my hunger, I wouldn't have gone straight to the court.
you are looking around at Robin and at Lane and at Ruby, and the voice crawls up your stomach into the back of your brain, looking at Robin, being like, "She wants you to just pull her to the side and just rip her fucking throat open and drain her. She wants it. She wants to feed you. Give her this last ecstasy. Ow!
I'm convinced. Okay, I go. I'll let you.
I didn't realize the beast could get hurt.
I keep forgetting where my stuff from my Hari is, but anyway.
I sent it to you in Messenger.
So, what? I'm assuming at this point, Idaho has gotten to the apartments, dropped off the car. He is. What did you just leave Brutus at your old apartment?
Yeah, typically I figure my routine is go to the apartment, leave Brutus there, and then find everybody.
Okay.
So I would have been making attempts to find out where everybody is.
So you head to the apartments. Nobody's really there. So you head to the club. We'll say everybody's meeting at Robin's bar. So everybody gets together. What is the topic at hand?
I'm fucking starving. Anybody else?
Spanish.
A little hungry. Go find a meal that we can have a conversation over.
Call in a few Chippendales dancers and make them disappear.
Am I just at a 2 now? Right, I fed last time. I've managed to feed.
You're at a 3.
Am I? I thought I fed on the TikTok couple. What happened? Oh, that was the end of the other night.
That was.
Oh yeah, okay. I guess it's time to go feed. I'll call the TikTok couple.
So when you say, all of you are talking about how hungry you are, Robin kind of clears her throat and kind of sticks her hip out, trying to look delectable.
Like a tasty snack.
Yeah, like a snack. And
because she wants it, she does though.
Lane kind of points her finger at her and be like, "You work the fucking bar." When she turns, Robin gets kind of a dejected look and goes back to putting alcohol away.
Until Scott walks
in. Lane. Lane.
Oh boy.
Do I need to know something?
As Lane is putting things away back in the on her side of the bar, she is muttering under her breath, "Fucking junkie." So
I feel like a parent that came back after a weekend that had a party, but everybody's trying not to let me find out.
Yeah, in the last session,
it felt like that.
It's not that we're not letting you find out. We just haven't had a chance to talk.
We haven't got to it yet.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just the energy. And I've walked into the house, I've walked in, and everybody's just like,
It's that meme of Glover walking in with the pizzas, and he walks in and everything is on fire. So
what happened?
Oh.
This is the worst timeline.
So what are you guys going to do? Are you guys going to go hunt? Are you going to try to have a discussion? Well, Alice tries not to rip your throats out. What are you guys going to do?
Probably need to go hunt.
Yeah, I mean, if we're all that hungry, we might as well just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We got to think of something drastic, though, because I'm going to need at least 3 points on my own.
Yeah, we should go up to guilt.
I only need 1. So
we can look around our own home turf. That's probably our best chance.
I want to shit on somebody else's
before
yard.
Before we go to the northeast side again, we got to
let
you know what happened
before we go up to the northeast.
Again. Okay.
We just went there, yeah. So we should take care of
business. I see.
Oh. Before we do anything.
Okay,
so our presence known.
So let me. Okay, so
Michael is actually just gonna go ahead and put text a bunch of his FW his fans with benefits. See if I can get a private party show up.
Okay, so the question I have is, So are you guys heading up to Guild, because you could certainly do that, or are you going to hunt within your own territory?
No, we need to fill Michael in before we head anywhere.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
I think
then
so.
the next question is: are you all hunting together, or are all of you hunting separately, or are you hunting? Are you pairing off?
Do we have much of a crowd yet in the club?
No, the club has not yet opened.
Far too early.
Well,
If we
Well,
found
immediately
a
I always like just go straight to like see if I can get delivery, get that shit handled without having to like do much about it. Make sure they're pretty. So
Okay, so
I've
you're
sent a couple text messages seeing if anything's gonna come back.
okay. So Michael is going to be hunting in his way. So
And then like put it up to the rest. Be like, I texted a couple friends if anybody is willing wants to join in. If I get anything delivered, does anybody want delivery? Totally. Does anybody want delivery?
okay,
If it
so
shows
there
up,
there's an option. Are
is it enough? That's my question.
any of you going to go hunting on your own?
Idaho, you want to make a
Yeah.
run?
let's just go wander and see if we find anything close by.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
I'd rather take out a transient than deal with people.
Transients aren't people to you? Oh my God. Yeah, I agree.
It's
That's
all food. It's just how much trouble do I want to go through for the food?
yeah.
I don't want to impress the food and
Oh,
Okay.
dress it
And
up,
also,
make it feel pretty.
yeah, let's
the
go.
saddest but truest fact is that nobody, they are
Okay.
the unmissed,
So
unfortunately. And that's why I said, like, there's a lot
okay,
of people who prey on them.
so Michael's going hunting. Al and Idaho, are you hunting together? Or
Yes,
are
sir.
you
Might as well help
okay?
each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Vic, what are you doing?
I can go. If Alan and Idaho will have me, I'll go hunting with them too.
Yeah, let's go. Let's make it a group thing.
Okay,
All right.
so then two separate roles. Michael,
We got to get our stories straight for when we come back to Michael to tell her what
Yeah.
three of us are going to go out and get our stories straight real quick.
Yeah. Remember when I took on all of the Northeast guys by myself and y'all stood by and cheered me? Remember that's what happened, right?
hand to God, that is not what I remember.
You don't remember, me, some pom poms,
Yeah.
And then I took out Shaw. It was
Remember?
That is not what I remember. But if you guys
Knox,
want
quit
to lie,
smoking PCP.
Yeah.
we can make a roll for the lie.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael,
Roll to intimidate GM.
I think we're gonna somehow fail.
we don't
on
have
that.
enough die. So Michael, 3 and 3, and for the other 3 of you, who is going to do the roll?
Doesn't really matter.
Let me rephrase that. Pix, roll 3 and 4, since you're the hungriest of the group.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Oh,
and hope it's not a messy crit.
for what?
Like mine.
You're at a 4 hunger right now? Damn.
Oh. Yeah, I'm at 4, so it wouldn't be a reroll of yours because you're 3 and 3.
Yeah, just do 3 and 4.
I'm just trying to. I guess I need to just use the script.
So, Michael, you call out, and you have a couple of very pretty twinks who show up, who are always happy to hear from you. They were planning on going out for the evening. They had already had other plans. They hadn't really thought about stopping by the club, but they were more than willing to do it. And
Start the night off on a high, so to speak.
Yeah, and so taking them into your office, it is almost no effort whatsoever to make them, to party with them, do a little coke, do a little bit of drugs. Doesn't have any particular effect on you, but it does give you ample opportunity to sink your fangs in. So, how far are you drinking?
Where am I at?
You are currently sitting at a 3.
I'm gonna get down to a 1,
So
so I
you're
can
going to
get
take.
1 and 1 off of each.
Yep. As you take one off of each, they are in absolute ecstasy. This is the perfect start to the evening. They are all over you, and they decide that they are going to stick around the club. And if you are interested, maybe showing up a little later, having a little something something, then they are ready, willing, and able.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Love my little babies, and I sometimes love being a toreador.
Ow. So here is. So you actually got a crit off of that.
Hmm?
So
At least it
because,
wasn't a bloody crit.
so because the
Mm.
2 zeros, so that
Oh,
counts.
yeah.
I didn't notice that.
So that's actually 4. So 5 successes. Um, so two things happen, kind of simultaneously, kind of not. Um, the 3 of you are out hunting. You are going to a place where you guys know from your previous hunting experiences that there are homeless people back there. There are often vagrants. Sometimes drunks end up falling asleep back there. There's been some times when you found cars back there that Vic has not ripped the door off of.
Oh, we're going to fix that.
Um,
Don't you worry.
Tonight, you guys stumble. There is a encampment of people, and they are. Some of them are still barely awake. Some of them are already high. Some of them are already drunk. Many of them are already passed out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, perfect.
So, Vic, we're going to start from one side to the other. Al, how do you feed? How much do you feed?
Mm. Well, taking 3 out of somebody knocks them out, right? But they're still.
So these people are not in I would consider prime shape.
Gotcha.
So taking 3 out of any of them is going to require, they're going to need hospitalization.
Let's
Yeah.
just spread the love.
You're probably going to need a dot per person.
How many? I mean, we've got a decent amount of people there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a small encampment. There's probably 5 or 6 people there.
And I only need 1 dot. I'm only at 2. I just kind of came out for support. Especially knowing that Al was that close to beasting out.
Mm.
Don't worry, I got quota
Um,
piece. Don't worry, I got it. Kill everyone.
Right. I may have to kind of spread it around. Just I guess, probably if I can safely get 2 off of one guy and then 1 off of another guy, probably how I'd split it.
Okay, so you're going to do that. Vic, you're going to do just 1 off of one guy?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so Al, when you sink your fangs in, it is a little gross. The smell of BO is pretty bad on top of the smell of bad drugs and too much alcohol. But when you sink your fangs into one of them and drink deep, the heroin in their system is not the cleanest you've ever tasted, but it is a smooth rush across your senses, and you know that they are going to, you are both saving their life by pulling this much out of them and also giving yourself a little something to happily.
Nice.
And for a moment, you feel like maybe you can rationalize this. Maybe this wasn't quite such a monstrous act as you were actually saving someone's life. So,
I thought we discussed last night we weren't saving any more lives.
No more vampire lives. Humans are still good. Vampires, no.
Vic, you find a gentleman who is passed out cold. He is having fitful dreams. He is kind of kicking, kind of moaning in his sleep. He seems to be in the throes of some sort of nightmare. And that is all what you need for your particular hunting style. You sink your fangs into his wrist, and almost instantly, it is as if his beast, were that he had one, was quelled. His cries go quiet, and while there is definitely the taste of horrible, cheap alcohol, your own beast is sated. So you lose you're down to your 1 dot. Unless you're going to kill him. Are you going to kill him? Okay, didn't think so, but
Just had to double check.
Leave him around for later. You never know. He might come back. Especially now that he's going to get such a good night's rest.
Yeah.
I slept real good in this valley. Come back here.
Idaho, well, your accomplices are stalking through the camp. You stumble across one of the sleeping people and you recognize him. It's James. And he is asleep and he is shuddering slightly in the cold, and you can smell the chemical smell of drugs on him.
So who's James again? Is he somebody I fed on before?
James is somebody you met recently at the club. He was when you fed on him, he was deeply taken by drugs, but the taste that you got off of him was somebody who was suffering very deeply from depression and escapism and feeling wrong in his own skin. You actually exchanged information with him.
Did I go to his apartment?
No, you fed on him at the club.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but he's out right now. He's under.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm at a 3, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want to take 2 from homeboy.
He's in better shape than the other ones.
Okay. Well, then I'll give him a nice gentle stroke of his hair, and I'll take 2 from him.
Okay.
And whisper, always come to the club.
Might even want to check it on him later.
I was going to say, there's a power called Submerge Directive that can be used for that. So, with everybody fed and heading back to the club, I guess now's about the time when it's time for you to fill Michael in on the tasks at hand.
Okay, so
more unfinished quests, guys.
So did how much did Michael know about? Did you know that Robin got thrown through the window, or had you left before that happened?
No, I was there.
She arrived right after.
He saw that.
So I saw that, and then I ran after Teddy.
While I was dealing with the longshoremen, and that's
because they basically did divide and conquer. They scattered us and scooped their people up immediately.
Yeah, the longshoremen tried really hard to get me to break the masquerade out in public, out in the club. Right after you left, that's pretty much when the police showed up in swarm.
Mm-hmm.
So, being that we still had longshoremen, held, we turned them over to the police and and Idaho, Robin was hurt pretty bad, so Idaho fed her to heal her up so that she could go out and be somewhat presentable to the police and say, "No, I don't need an ambulance, but I want to press charges."
Right.
And we let the police know that Michael would also be pressing charges.
Idaho, is that the end of the story that you want to include about Robin?
I'll add more. I'm just waiting.
Okay.
And then after that, that was pretty much how the night ended, at least for us. I don't know if it happened right away or not, but go ahead, Idaho.
So basically, I fed Robin to knit her up because she was in pretty bad straits, and we didn't want the police to insist that she go to the hospital.
Right.
But after I fed her once, she was still really messed up. So because I totally forgot about Blood Bond, I fed her again. So now she's got a ginormous crush on me, and I'm just waiting until that fades. That's really it. I mean, she's just now like a lost puppy dog around me, and I'm just waiting. And I don't know how long it takes for something like that to fade, but I'm just waiting for it to
She
fade.
needs to feed off somebody else, right?
I thought it was just something that took time. I don't know.
It takes time. It'll go away over time.
I don't know it off the top of my head. I'd imagine that.
Michael probably would know, right?
Yeah.
So, Michael, you know that so blood bonding usually takes 3 times to permanently set in with somebody.
Okay.
It is a slightly different state than ghouling somebody. Blood bonding basically makes them the human version of a blood bonded ghoul is colloquially known as a Renfeld.
A what?
Was a Renfeld, in reference to the manservant that was in Bram Stoker's Dracula, who is also totes obsessed with
Dracula.
And that is not inaccurate for how blood bonded humans act. They are at the absolute best, they are excellent soldiers. At the absolute worst, it is like having the most obsessive groupie literally constantly begging for your attention.
Right.
Poor Guillermo.
It is the
What?
So, but you also know it takes. So some blood bonds, depending on who the person is, are stronger than others.
Right.
Some people have no reaction or very little reaction. It takes multiple feedings. Some people, 1 or 2 or 3 feedings is enough to make them be almost psychotic about the person. And there are numerous different stories in Kindred Society of jilted lovers gone bad because they decided to give of themselves a bit too freely to the wrong temperamental person.
Got it. Okay.
So I don't know how long.
But the general rule is generally speaking, from the last time you fed, is a month to 6 weeks.
Oh shit. So yeah, I'm just not going to give her any more of my blood, and unless there's some serious emergency that requires it, and I'm going to just kind of let it fade out.
Yep. Okay then. So yeah, you're not allowed to let her come anywhere near you.
Well, no, I mean that's not an.
I'm kidding.
To be nice.
I'm kidding. It was a joke. Easy.
And then we found out that the guy that was cuffed was taken to jail, and not an hour later he was released.
This is the next night. So we woke up the next night.
Yeah. So last night, not 2 nights ago, last night, you guys found out the guy was already released on bail or like charges dropped.
Wasn't even booked.
He didn't even get in front of a judge. So
interesting.
We were like, what the hell?
30 minutes in the police station. He was as long as he was there.
So I called Sunny to find out some info from her, and Al, you called Nolte, right? Didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we pieced together. We found out that there was how did was it Sonny who told me about the lawyer? There was a
Mhm.
lawyer who has Camarilla associations waiting to get him out,
Police station.
but he was not directed to do that by the camp.
Interesting.
So he kind of did his own little rogue thing to help a Northeast anarch.
So, do we know which lawyer? Did the lawyer sound familiar at all?
Sonny wouldn't
No,
tell me who the lawyer was.
I wonder why.
Yeah. And then Sonny told me that we kind of did a little information trade. She said she was curious to find out why the Hecate have been asking about Vic. So
That's
I,
interesting to me too.
yeah, I mentioned that to Vic. We didn't have time to follow up on that though. So all we know is that the Hecate have been asking about Vic.
Do we have any leads on our Tremere's lost member?
Nothing at this point.
We may not, but we may have a way of finding one.
Oh, that would be good. We might need their help, and
Mhm.
any solidification between our bond would be really helpful for us in the future.
Mm-hmm.
We,
Yeah, we'll need them to help us fight the Northeast Anarchs after what we did
Yeah.
last night.
So we need to find their girl for them. Or at
So
least try
after the
to.
rest of last night,
yeah, what else happened last night, Vic? You know?
Yeah, what happened last night, Vic and
we
Al?
decided to make our presence known on the Northeast side because we're tired of getting hit over, stuff happening over here.
I mean, I wanted to too, but y'all had to go without me. What happened? What'd you do?
This was the lead up, okay? We printed out a bunch of flyers with a picture of the guy that threw Robin through the bar.
Oh,
His mugshot in like the security cam footage, and we put our phone number on it, and we posted the flyers all over Northeast Territory.
all right.
And we posted
We'll get a phone
flyers
call.
for the club all over Northeast Territory too.
For Beacon, yeah, we posted flyers for Beacon all up on Northeast.
But we had an interesting
I
conversation.
love you, little punk.
No, we went to Guilt because we wanted to
Mhm.
let Sabine know what we were doing because we didn't want her to feel like we were encroaching on her. And we had a really interesting conversation with her.
Oh, do tell.
Apparently, what's her name? The leader of the Northeast Anarchs.
It's a bisexual name, but it's a
Reese.
Reese. There
Reese.
we go. Reese.
Yeah,
Unisex.
Unisex.
There we go. Unisex name. Sorry.
Reese is now, I'm assuming this is news, it was news to me, is now formally declaring herself as the Baron of Northeast Philadelphia. She has Northeast Philadelphia on a lockdown. We noticed that the streets, there wasn't a lot of activity, there wasn't a lot of stuff going on. It seemed kind of like a dead night. And we found out from Sabine that Reese is basically running Northeast like tighter than a cam. She's got it like on martial law, like totally on lockdown. And Sabine is even afraid to say stuff. We were trying to get Sabine to kind of help us, and she said she was worried about doing that because, she's under the purview of the Northeast Anarchs right now, and they're running it like a friggin' police state. So
Good
we're
to know.
cams.
They're
So she
scared.
doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Right.
But she's stuck in the middle of it.
Right. And we found out from Sonny something very interesting. I asked Sonny if the NOS knew where the Northeast Anarch Haven is. And we were told that they do not operate themselves like we do. They don't have a club. They don't have a public place. They have a private place, and it changes a lot. So, yeah, narrowing them down is going to be a little tough. So
that's why we decided to go and flyer because
And I said to Sabine, well, Sabine, there must be a way to get a message to these people. And she said, yes. And I said, well, why don't you tell Reese that we want to have a meeting with Reese because we know how to summon Shaw. So we use that as bait. Or I didn't say it like that. I said it like we know how to produce or something like that.
Yeah,
You know how to get him out of the shadows almost.
I said, so tell Reese, we know how to get Shaw. We know how to get Shaw out of the shadows or something like that. So trying to dangle some bait to try to see if Reese will actually have the whatever it would be to actually have a meeting with us.
Cojones.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that'd be the right word I was going for. That's why I kind of halted.
Hey,
But
cojones don't have to be the physicality of one. I know girls that
no,
have
I was
much more cojones than half men.
I was gonna say if Reese is stupid enough to have a sit down with us was really what I was kind of thinking of
Oh,
saying. But then on the way back from our evening of flyering, what happened, Al?
kind of happened upon the warehouses where we ended up, rescuing me and Robin essentially.
Hmm.
And somebody over there is doing some sick experiments because their version of a security cam is 3 eyeballs on the end of a stump
hand.
of a hand.
Wait, what? Like from
Yes,
like Beetlejuice? Like
essentially,
like out of the
it
fucking
like
the
hand is
80s
gripping
movie?
and
Adam's
amputated
family, but with
and
3 eyes on the end.
eyes, and they made it very clear that they saw through any and all attempts to hide ourselves.
Yeah, they saw
How?
Al was obfuscated and things saw Al.
The hand saw you.
Hmm.
How did you find out? Does it speak? Does the amputated hand make noise?
You share the senses, and I could see that the thing could see me and Vic.
Ugh.
And
Mm.
she could also tell that it had a phantom body. It was like the opposite of phantom limb syndrome. Like the hand, like could sense what was missing from the rest of the body.
It's pretty bad.
And that's not even the
That's
last
rough.
part. So
Oh,
as
and oh yeah, and then
we started hearing the voices,
Yeah.
mhm.
we
More
heard the
voices driving
voices
me
of
even.
missing vampires that had gone down there with Al, and they were saying things like, "Help me, I'm in horrible pain," or whatever they were
Kind of
saying.
lost whispers, but
Hmm.
yeah, they really wanted out of
We
there.
didn't all hear the same voices either.
And this
Mm-mm.
was at the warehouse that we got everybody out from.
Well,
But
when me and Robin came back after
yeah,
This was
Robin's
an Al
adventure,
solo
this was
session.
this is
Al's solo.
solo, where Robin ended up being conned into going out with the were they Thin Bloods, or it was a
No, they were
mixed
just other
group
vamps.
or just other vamps, and I ended up towing along because they made it very clear they were really interested in her, and I felt like if she left without supervision, shit would go down.
We would never
So
see her again.
exactly. So I went along, and we ended up at the warehouses. Shaw showed up, and it was a whole mess.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
So this was the same warehouse area. And at the point and it wasn't just me, we were all hearing whispers, but all of different voices saying different things.
Oh, and then they left this on the car, and I produced the note.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a note.
He had not been far from the car either before we turned tail, and it was there.
You want to take this?
You want to describe the note, Knox?
The note is a flyer. It's not quite a full sheet of paper, but in
Like a 10 by 8.
what is a mix of what looks like maybe blood, smells like part maybe it's vitae, and some sort of oil, maybe motor oil or motor grease.
Gross.
It is smeared in big caps letters. Help me.
We said nope.
So I can't tell if it's like blood or vitae or anything.
It's like a mix of some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like a bit of all of it. And it was on the car?
Yeah, somebody put it on the car, and we don't know how it got on the car.
And all it says is help me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Al, did you get any vibes off of it?
yeah, they're like run like shit vibes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
GTFO,
that was
MFers.
kind of when we got in the car and just got the fuck out.
So
like,
I actually grabbed the note because I was going to give it to our Tremere and see if maybe they could discern anything. But I'm really hesitant to say how much of this is in Idaho's brain and how much of it is in my brain. But it seemed like we stumbled upon a place where somebody was doing some really weird experimental fucked up shit to a bunch of vampires.
Like think Abraham. Like
Yeah, I'm thinking Abraham. Actually,
That's
I was already
exactly
thinking Abraham before you even said anything.
That's what we were thinking.
Yeah, but
Especially with the hand and the eyes. I mean, it's like exactly what
I'm
we
not
found
saying
down
it is
there.
Abraham. Timing may not line up. I don't think Abraham
I
had
don't think the
escaped
timing
at the
lines
time
up.
Al had her solo session.
No, but if I mean if
But I'm saying
Abraham's
very much like what we saw down in.
But
I
remember,
mean, we don't know where he is.
yeah, we don't. We sure don't.
So he might be like he might have sanctuary at the Northeast Anarch, and who knows what they're trying to do for Thin Blood.
So, okay, these weren't Thin Bloods. These were regular vampires.
Yes.
And remember when we were breaking out of the naval base and we found that one vampire who was all changed? He looked so freaking weird. Remember that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So maybe it's something like that. Or
Well,
something.
that vampire did it to himself.
Yeah, but does that mean they can't do it to other vampires?
For me, it's just reminding me of those mouthless people down at Abraham's. All those like walking lab experiments.
Yeah, there was some weird body experimentation going on.
It all sounds super the same.
So yeah, we decided to leave.
Good call. Creepy. But yeah, let's. I have a meeting set to happen with the Tremere. So when that happens, you should come with and give him the note.
Okay.
So, having recanted the previous evening and set a bit of a thought in everybody's mind about what needs to be done tonight, I think. Let's take a quick bio break.
Yeah, let's get that knocked out of the way. All right, everybody.
We'll be back at the top of the hour.
Yep. Stick with us. I'm gonna throw us over to the BRB and a quick break. All right, everybody, welcome back to the playground. Thank you for sticking with us through the break. I'm joined tonight by Knox, my storyteller, Scott, who plays Idaho, Zack, who plays Vic, Martha
Ew.
is Michael, I'm your Alice. Thank you for joining us for the second half of Vampire the Masquerade, Philly by Night. Let's get to it.
So, welcome back to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Chronicle, Philly by Night. So, when last we left off, our coterie was explaining to the Baron of West Philadelphia the strangeness of the previous evening. So, that leads us to the question at hand. I'm never going to get tired of making these puns. What is the agenda for this evening? You're waiting for the Tremere to get back in touch with you. What else are you going to do in the meantime?
Well, I'm still interested in following down the lane, the possible lead for the Tremere's missing member.
Al, think you can help out with that?
Do we have a lead?
Al has a way of possibly finding.
Oh, do go on.
Show me something in my premonition.
Yes. I'm looking it up. Hold on. We looked it up during our solo session.
Very cool.
But I remember.
I know.
As good as mine.
Barrett on track.
Yep.
Premonition.
I was gonna say a caffeinated squirrel in a closed room, but has anybody seen Hoodwinked?
That's my favorite character, though.
It says, whenever the storyteller deems it appropriate, this power gives the character a sudden hint that aids them in some way, letting them find a clue they've missed or saving them from danger. Whether it gives the character a sudden vision of themselves walking into a trap, an inviting red glow over the second right turn during a chase, or the brief flash of a skeleton beneath the floorboards in the prince's office. This power always gives the storyteller license to subtly speed up play or move the story into a desired track. The suggested limit is one premonition per scene, even if more than one character has premonition.
Mm.
Well, it sounds like a pretty powerful ability. Let's start using it.
Right.
It says the user can actively provoke a premonition by focusing on a subject, making a rouse check, and then rolling resolve and aspects.
Hello, Dolly. All right, then.
The number of successes rolled
Al,
determines
have I
the
told
level
you
of
I love you
insight,
lately?
if any.
So, what are you going to ask Al to use her premonition on?
Finding what's her face?
The
Adelaide?
Tremere. Adelaide.
Adelaide. Yes, thank you.
I think that's her name.
It is.
Aldegard?
Alderman? What?
I mean that's one to bring to the table, or the longshoreman. What do we feel is more important?
Honestly, the longshoreman's kind of like a payback scheme at this point in time. Like I'd rather.
Adelaide is. We need to reinforce our allyships and make sure that we're not standing out here alone. So let's help some people.
So the question is, how are you going to pursue this? How are you going to do this? Because in order for to work, you have to have something to focus on.
So do we have anything of Adelaide's? Can we procure a possession?
I'm sure we could find something from someone at the apartment.
Oh, the user can also actively provoke premonition by focusing on a subject. So no, you don't actually need something of Adelaide's.
You just need to focus on Adelaide.
Mm-hmm.
Joke.
Yeah.
Oh,
amazing.
So before you can do anything, you have to rouse the blood.
Yeah.
Good thing you ate first.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Success.
Rouse one, douse one.
So it is your resolve and aspects.
So just leave it where it says discipline. Autofilled it. Okay, so no modifiers. Did I do it right?
How much resolve do you have? Is your resolve that low? You only have 2 points in resolve. 3, 2, 3. Yes. Yes, you did. So the you have a brief flash of two separate thoughts almost at once. One is of the night that Adelaide went missing, of her stepping out of the apartment and she walked down the street, not terribly far, when something caught her eye. And she very, very forthrightly pursued after something. The other vision that you have is of the river. This is an unpleasant sensation. The feeling of being bound, of metal under your skin, the feeling of dirt and mud on your face and under your nails. It is fear.
She got tied to an anchor and thrown into the river.
And then it's you.
I would definitely relay everything to the group. So, do we want to go investigate the river?
Any clues on where in the river? Because the river is
Which
pretty
river?
Egg.
Hey, which river? The main one?
Would I have recognized any landmarks in the
You didn't see any, but the river from that you recall from a vision is wide, so it leads you to believe that it would be, in fact, the river going down the main part between Philly and Camden.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long stretch.
So there was something about her leaving the apartment. She
Going
saw
into an
something.
But you knew that information because Jean-Baptiste had told you that she left to go feed.
would,
Well, we
Right.
just
would
have to go.
we have had any access to any kind of CCTV or anything in the area?
No, she walked away, far away from the apartment. When she walked out and down across the street and then over. So she would not be on any of the cameras to the building.
Jesus, I don't know how we follow up on this.
Any way to trace her footsteps to the alley? Maybe there's something there.
Is there anything that you can remember that caught her attention? What did she start chasing down? Can you remember? Can you focus on the flash and the vision?
I'll roll wits and excuse me, let me look at your skills. Roll wits and awareness.
Still learning these damn buttons.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on the dice by wits and it doesn't. I don't see
Do
awareness.
one by awareness and then click on wits.
Oh,
Yeah, start with the skills if it's a skill and something else.
okay, and then choose. Okay. Modifiers.
Ooh.
I just learned everything.
So, Damn.
You are not entirely sure, but you believe that what she was pursuing was either something human that engaged her in some way as to either be a threat or to be something that was acutely interesting to her for feeding, or something that was uh, interesting to her as a Tremere.
At this point, I will call up Maria. Do I have her number?
Marie?
Marie, sorry. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, let's bring the Tremere in on this, see if they can do anything with this info.
I'm gonna pass all the information, everything that we just deciphered, and onto the Tremere, along with my suspicion that I fear the interpretation that she might be somewhere in the river in torpor.
So you don't have a number for Marie. You could, however, go just up to her.
I just run over and grab them.
Yeah, no, like me and I'll go and tell them really quickly and come back.
Okay, so you guys just go up there, tell them what you saw, and come back. Okay.
Let them know if there's if that helps and they need a hand. And I make sure that she has my number now.
When you go there, it is not Marie who answers the door this time, but Eugene, who, when he opens the door, there's a split second there where you think it's Jean-Baptiste, but the mannerisms and the speaking are very different. He accepts the information that you tell him, and he ponders it for a second before looking at you, Al, and being like, given the options between something that would appeal to her as a Tremere or something that would appeal to her as a kindred, he goes, I would lean more on something that would appeal to her as a Tremere. Her tastes for hunting tend to be less interesting than some others, let's say. Well, things that would catch her attention for our studies
Far more intriguing.
He says, how do you people say it? Squirrel.
Like a crow and something shiny.
An apt description.
Got it. Thank you.
He goes, if you have any more information, please come back, and thank you so much.
Will do. Do you need me to pass it on to Jean-Baptiste, or do you have that?
He goes, no, I will make sure that Jean-Baptiste knows.
Thank you. We will keep you updated if anything else comes up.
So what's next?
Any way to know what alley it was? Like, was that vivid enough? Can we at least go to that alley?
Yes, Al could certainly take you to that alley.
Let's go. Let's go, Smith.
So it is about 3 blocks over and down. It's an alley. It's not a particularly nice alley. There is some graffiti in it. There's a lot of trash in it. Somebody has parked a van, which is long since broken down, in the alley. But otherwise, it's an alley.
Anything interesting about the graffiti? Any specific tags or any symbols that would mean more to us than anybody else passing them by?
Roll.
Can probably aid in that.
Michael, roll intelligence and insight.
What is that? That is
Got 2, 3.
3 and 3. So 3 and 3. Is that what I'm rolling?
It would be for you. It'd be 5 and 1.
5 and 1. Okay. Oh, because my hunger's 1. Got it. Yeah, I think
No
I'm figuring out how
modifiers?
this code works. All right, here we go.
Damn, everybody's rolling well tonight. So
Might get something done.
among the tags on the wall, Michael, you look, and at first, the Toreador part of you looks at the wall, sees the street art, and can't help but sit back and kind of admire it. It's a brutal, kind of wild artwork. It is
Full of expression.
It is very expressive. It's beautiful. And then you step back a little bit, and your brain makes some connections here. There is some hidden iconography that is underlying what is being shown. And in the artwork, you realize that this tag is not just a tag. It is a turf marking this alley as someone's home, and a warning for others to stay out.
Interesting.
Taking my rings off, y'all.
I was ready to take over. Even if it has nothing to do with Adelaide, ready to get to business.
I feel like the welcome wagon are we still within my territory?
You are definitely
and the
still
welcome
within.
wagon is.
I just start screaming, "Come out, bitches!"
No, we're going to be polite and kind. You never know. I mean, why get all messed up unless we have to?
With our track
Looking
record.
at, and I check my nails and stuff. We see if we can just imply grave bodily danger. Or see what's going on.
So what are you going to do?
What does the warning say?
It's not so much a direct warning. It's not like a
right.
Like a
don't touch what is this. It implying?
Yeah, it's the again the warning is more in the inherent. This is my domain. This is my territory. Stay out.
Okay, so it's very much like no trespassing. Stay out. Warning. I will bite you, kind of thing, or not like. I will throw a rock at you.
Usually, when you see somebody's declaration of a of domain, it's an inherent stay the fuck out.
I want to do
can I tell if this is kindred or kind?
No, this is definitely kindred.
Oh, then we're definitely going to be knocking on the door. I pointed out to Vic and Al in Idaho, and I say, looks like we have somebody moving in and declaring space. We say, welcome to the neighborhood. And
I can run Sense the Unseen and see if they're standing right here.
Yeah, go for it.
Sense the Unseen for you, that's going to be Wits and Aspects.
And likewise.
Okay, so both of you can do Wits and Aspects.
Did I do that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Do you want to spend a willpower to reroll up to 3?
Yeah.
Or I was going to say, or would you rather wait until Michael?
Yeah, let's do Michael's
roll.
Yeah.
So wait, it's 3, and where's my Aspects?
So you can actually, if you go to on your sheet, if you go down to your Aspects, open that tab up. and then click the one next to discipline.
Okay.
It should.
Modifier 0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So what do I
sorry.
do?
I didn't mean to click that.
The
What am I
hell,
supposed to do
Vic?
with this?
Don't worry
I'm
about
sorry,
what
what
Vic
was that?
did.
I was getting yeah, I was getting a walkthrough on how to roll or what to roll. Just tell me what to roll. What are my numbers?
Oh, just it would have been 0. You can
What?
either so when you hit it, next to sense the unseen, it says which
Oh, if I
discipline.
just do submit,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it'll roll for me.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you got 2 successes.
Oh, cool.
So
Cool.
before I say anything, Al, you want to attempt to spend a willpower to reroll to see if you can get more successes? And Michael, do you want to reroll willpower to see if you can add to your successes?
Sure.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna do 1.
So both of you reroll 3.
3.
You both have 3 to reroll. So okay. So Al's got 2 successes, matching Michael's, and Michael has additional 2, so 4. Okay. So Michael, when you look around, there is a moldering pile of trash that is, when you look at it,
Not necessarily trash.
it's not trash. It's not
It's
trash
just
at all.
something that looks like trash.
It is somebody who has used their skills to make themselves look even less appealing than they already are.
So it's a venture.
So seeing this, what are you going to do?
How far away are they? Are they across the street or are they like close by?
They're like, let's say, like 4 or 5 yards away from you.
And we're still in the alley, so like nobody
Mhm.
can see us really.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna call out to them. Knock knock. Welcome wagon. And as I start to slowly approach, and I'd be like, there's nothing to fear. We've just come to get acquainted. I would hate to have to resort to calling you Oscar. So how about you come out and
The
acquaintances?
effect for the other 3 of you is something that wasn't there and then suddenly is. He is probably 5.5 feet tall. He's probably about 4 feet wide.
What kind of Pokemon is this?
In life, he must have been horribly obese. In death, his skin looks like somebody basically deep fried him. His skin is covered in seeping pores and wounds that don't seem to heal. His internal organs are actually kind of pressing up against the flesh on his stomach, leaving like a scene. Do you remember the scene? And it's not related to we'll get to that in a second. The scene from The Dark Knight when the cops found the fat guy and the phone was under his skin.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but instead of a phone, it's all of his internal organs.
Like brought to
Pushed
the
up against
surface in
the-
between the fat
Yeah.
and the. Ooh.
Trying to get
I'm
out.
just thinking of Blade.
He is.
That
He's
marshmallow
not.
he fried.
I'm thinking about thinking about John Leguizamo in Spawn when he's got arson in it.
His
It's also very Cronenberg. This is
his
all very
face.
Cronenberg.
His hair is patchy all over his head. It's just looks like stringy and gross. And his teeth are, most of them are gone with the exception of like his fangs. Like he's got fangs and like maybe 3 or 4 other teeth that you can see, but they're so spread out. And there is
Poor guy.
sound. You can't tell if it's a hissing or a buzzing sound. It's almost like he has, since you've been able to see him, that there is like a weird TV staticky thing going on in your ears.
Mm.
Okay. As he pushes his bulk up and he looks at you and he goes, for somebody who claims to have no want to threaten, he kind of nods at Vic and he goes, "You sure have a way of saying it."
What did I do?
Everybody knows
What
who
did
you
he
are.
do? He can't help the way he was made.
What? No, did you hear? He replied.
Because everybody knows who you are.
Who is he?
Everybody knows who Vic is.
Yeah, I know. And I'm asking this guy, who is he?
He's the destroyer of doors.
He's the banisher of the shoeless.
I guess I've made a name for myself.
What? I'm curious as to what it is, though.
He goes, if he was a Cam, he'd be your sheriff.
Yeah, but we're not Cam, are we? He can't help being the way he is.
I was about to say, excuse me? Am I not in the running here?
Let's stay on.
He looks at you, Al, and he goes, "Oh, excuse me, Your Majesty. I'm so sorry that that me leaving you out offended you."
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway.
So your name?
He goes, "I'm Carlos. What do you want? Why are you in my alley?"
Your alley is in my territory, and it is my hope to be very well acquainted with everybody taking sanctuary in my territory.
He goes, "Look, I don't take any of your people. My tastes are," he goes, "well, probably more offensive to you." He looks at you, Idaho. He says, "So you don't have to worry about me hurting any of your precious humans or any of the others that you have running around here. Stay to my alley. This is my life."
The reason we're here is because we have someone that went missing. And we've received a vision that let us know that she came to this alley.
Maybe you could help us.
He goes, "I could, but what's in it for me?"
We don't bother you. We let you keep
famous
your alley.
When you say "let you keep your alley," he points at you and he goes, "Is that a promise?"
As long as you don't cause trouble, I don't see you haven't done anything to us. As long as you live here peacefully, I don't see a reason that we're going to do anything.
I've been here for decades and you guys haven't found me.
Exactly. See, apparently we have no problem with you. If you've been here for decades, you've caused no problems with us. Why would we have
no
a
issues
reason
with
to
you,
bother
and we don't want to start any new issues. In fact, knowing you're here lets us make sure that you are never to be fucked with. And that was our intent. If you want to, like, help us clean or, like, help us out, making sure that all who live in this territory are more safe than not, we would love your assistance.
Carlos folds his arms over his considerable bulk and he looks at you. He goes, I want your word that as long as you're prince, that this is my alley and my domain and everybody has to stay out.
You have my word. This is your alley.
He goes, fine. What do you want to know?
How long ago was it at a game that she went missing?
It has been excuse me. We're actually having to go back a fair amount.
Really? I thought it was kind of recent.
I mean, just to figure it out, we might have to go back there now because we.
It was the same night Raul disappeared.
Yeah, wasn't it the night we were helping Threnody?
Yeah.
So it's been that was that night started on session 43.
Mm-hmm.
So and it didn't end until session 45. The end of 45. So that was one night. 46. 47. It's been probably about a week and a half. So.
Okay, cool. So he might remember. So I'll be like, how well can you remember who you've seen around this alley? Like, let's say like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks.
Female, Tremere.
I'm just,
describe her, right?
I'm asking about his memory, like how good his memory is.
He's like, my memory's fine. He's like, why is that a problem?
Not a problem. Just looking for this specific person and wondering if you saw her about a week and a half ago. And then I guess either I tell him her description or show her a picture.
He takes the picture from you and kind of looks at you and he goes, you're very weird.
I'm okay with that.
This guy's awesome.
Oh, and Captain Obvious.
And I'm interested. Yeah, I'm being able to talk to him.
He is so. You are aware, Michael, that there is something else here.
Mm-hmm.
You are not sure what it is, but you feel like there is now that you've seen him and you're looking at him, there is a fuzziness to what you see and feel. It is, you feel almost as if you've had like soft cotton balls put over all of your senses. Like you feel like
this is like a shimmer almost.
You feel like you should be able to smell him, but you actually, the alley doesn't smell bad at all, despite the fact that there's obvious amounts of trash everywhere. And in fact, Idaho and Vic, if you haven't noticed this, you would probably have noticed that your noses, you don't really smell anything at all here. You didn't pick him up with your nose when you came into the alley.
That's weird.
He looks at the photo and then hands it back to you. And he goes, yeah, I saw her. She saw some guy who ran down this alley. He looked, I don't want to say nice. He would have looked, it would have looked nice once upon a time. Let's put it that way. Like his clothes were all kind of ripped up and patched up. She seemed to have a real issue with him, and she chased him through the alley. I was gonna say something because I don't want fucking people running through my alley. That's fucking hot.
Obviously.
He goes, you know what I'm talking about. People, you're sitting there trying to have a meal. He reaches down and holds up a rat. He goes, trying to, have a little bit of a snack before you settle in to watch some Seinfeld on your phone or something like that. And then, all of a sudden these fucking asshole people are running down your alley. It's bad enough when it's kind. He goes, but instead, these two fucking licks decide to run through my alley like they're playing phone tag or some shit. She seemed like she was angry at him. He seemed like he was leading her on a merry chase.
Did you hear anything that they yelled at each other? Did they yell? Did you hear any interactions that they had?
Did you take any pictures or videos of it?
No, what do you think I am, a pervert?
There's worse.
Of course, you're a person with a phone. That's what I
And there's worse in this world. TikTok is a hell of a thing.
He goes, that's disgusting. He goes, no, I didn't take any photos. If I had took photos of everybody who came in here, all of my photos would be of people with trash bags.
Fair enough. Did you catch any exchanged words between the two? Anything yelled?
He thought it was funny. She didn't. She seemed kind of angry, maybe annoyed. I don't know. I figured it was some lover spat. He was laughing at her.
Can you
the description of him
to stick out? Yeah, anything physical stick out about him? Did he look interesting in any way, or just what did he look like? Can you think you can tell us?
I mean, looks like all of you. Tall.
I mean, yeah, I know. One head, 2 arms, a leg, 2 legs, a torso. But any features that stuck out, anything that, how would you describe him?
I don't know. His suit was all beat up.
What kind of suit? Pinstripes? Gray?
No. It looked like either something you get married in or something you get buried in. Except all the seams were all ripped and torn.
Okay, so busted up tux almost, fancy.
Yeah, maybe it was fancy at some point in his life.
Right,
that was
it looked
that was obviously a long time ago.
Interesting.
What about his face? Hair color? Bald?
He had dark hair.
His eyes?
Thin lips.
Okay.
Does this description ring a bell for any of us? Is this anyone that
yeah,
I don't know, would that be a role?
Yeah.
So you've got a couple different options here. You can make a roll, and you can roll your wits and insight if you want to attempt to figure out if this is ringing any particular bells for you. Idaho, you will get a +1 for the roll. Al, you also have the option that you can use premonition here, of course.
Why do I get a plus for this?
Oh, because it's a different scene, right? We've moved.
Yeah.
Because I can only do it once
Completely
per
different
scene.
scene.
Okay, just making
So
sure.
for me, it would also be wits and aspects, you said?
For Al to use premonition, yes.
Oh, no, for me to use just thinking about it.
It's going to be your wits and insight.
Do I have any modifiers on this one?
No.
Those crits tonight, man.
I was going to say, Jesus Christ, Al.
This is the payback for the 2 night?
Yes.
Fuck 2 night. 2 night was awful.
Because I went back and I actually did the recap for that recently. And
yeah, it was brutal.
It was 2. I was just
Here's the shit thing. 2 is supposed to be my lucky number.
Not in this game.
Not in this game.
Not in this game.
No.
Idaho, are you going to roll or are you going to hold off?
I mean, I'm going to hold off now, but I'm just curious, why would I get an extra for this?
You would have had to roll to figure it out.
Yeah, man.
I'll roll. So what did you say it was? Animal kin plus charisma?
Wits and insight.
So let's see, my wit is 12. Okay. I get a bonus.
Actually, and you get 1 bonus die. It's not a bad roll for you.
All right, then.
What's my hunger at? 1.
I think we're all at a 1 right now.
That wasn't great.
Okay. Do you want to spend a willpower to reroll? No. Okay. Al, when you're talking, when he's talking about this, and you focus, it is as if you can see it happening. Adelaide sees a shadow in the alley, and realizing who it is gives chase. He is surprised, maybe a little afraid, but excited, interested, and he allows himself to be chased. That as they run from the alley, you realize that you're seeing this from his eyes as he runs. And as he exits the end of the alley and turns, he catches his reflection going by the TV repair shop as all of the TVs fizzle out. And that slash of a smile is visible in the reflection.
Is it freaking Shaw?
Yep. I guess at this point I would probably be describing the vision as I'm seeing it. Like, I know time is of the essence, so that way I'm not having to give a recap.
So interesting. You know, I guess I have, for some reason, I always pictured Shaw wearing an entirely white suit.
No.
Were we ever told that?
Mm-mm.
That's interesting how that just entered
No,
my mind.
so the I could tell you why you think of that, if you'd like me to tell you.
Okay.
It's because the very first night, and perhaps the very first kindred that you ever encountered, was in a completely white suit.
Yeah, maybe.
But you also haven't encountered her but once or twice.
Yeah, and that was on the dance floor. But anyway, okay, moving on.
So would you just say that it was Shaw, like at the moment you saw him?
Mm-hmm.
Was
Okay.
it Shaw?
Yeah.
Storyteller?
As far as I recommend, or recognize.
Yeah.
Oh, we
yeah,
would
yeah.
definitely recognize Shaw, wouldn't we? We've seen him enough freaking times.
Yeah. So like,
I mean,
at that point, I would turn to this guy. I was like, flip him a card. Be like, if you ever see that man again, I need you to call me ASAP, and I need you to call me if you ever need backup or like somebody to reassure your claim here.
Carlos sits back down by the wall and he goes, I end up talking with you licks once, twice, every 10 to 15 years. He goes, I'm going to guess it's going to be another 10 to 15 before we speak again.
let's hope it is.
He goes, thank God.
I mean, if that's the way you want it, let's hope it is. But in case you ever need
Just in
anything,
case.
you have backup. And I give him the card.
When you get close to him and hand him the card, he takes it from you. And as he takes it from you, his finger brushes yours just briefly. When it does, there's a split second where there is kind of a breaking of the veil, and you see what is behind the muffling. And it is far worse than what you see on this side. It is, you think you see maybe that he has carved out his bulk and that there are things living inside of him, that there are bugs and other things underneath of the skin, that the what you thought were his internal organs pushing against his skin and distending it were in fact not his internal organs at all,
Like creatures.
but creepy crawlies and centipedes and other things.
Does he have a squeedly spooch?
He's oogie woogie.
No, I was gonna say this is very much like the mummy in those
When he
scarabs.
when he realizes that you've touched him and you've seen, he jerks his hand back and he goes, "I think you need to leave."
As you wish.
Fine.
Thank you again for all of your assistance.
You've been extremely helpful.
You've been extremely helpful. I appreciate everything.
He kind of waddles away from you. So now what are you going to do?
Great. That's awesome, Michael. You just got away with promising him nothing. Did you? I know I'm just kidding around here, but you made a mistake, Knox, unless you did it on purpose. And Carlos said, while you are prince, you will protect my claim. Well, Michael ain't a prince. So I'm wondering, is that what Carlos mistakenly said, or was that just a mistake on your part?
No, that's what Carlos said.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll kind of point that out to Michael once we've moved away. You know, and clearly it doesn't mean
Prince.
but he said, while you are prince, and you're not a prince, so you technically don't owe him shit.
Yeah, but we're not running our piece like that.
Just
Good luck's on the loophole, though, for future knowledge. I'll keep that in my back pocket. Because you guys didn't see what I saw.
I saw him chewing on a rat. I could always convince the rats to leave this alley alone forever.
No, as I walk away, I let you guys know what I saw.
Yeah, we'll leave him alone.
What the hell, man?
Set him up with a nice nos.
He's not a lick. Is this what I'm picking up? Because he's acting like we aren't the same.
I mean, he's definitely kindred.
Okay.
He's just not,
just like
not like we are. Who knows what freaking clan that was? Ew.
The kind that doesn't bathe.
Oh, Ravnus.
So, Michael, you would actually have encountered maybe one other kindred that was similar to him in your life,
mm-hmm.
who turned themselves into an unliving hive. So basically, they were able to keep all of their
supplies on hand,
their little creepy crawlies inside of them, and unleash them using a form of animalism.
So he is Oogie Boogie.
Kind of, yeah. Or what was his name from the that OG anime where she's poison and the monsters? Demon Slayer. No.
I haven't seen it.
It's not Vampire Hunter D. It is
Ninja Scroll?
Yes.
Mm.
No. Yes.
No. A movie? Old movie?
Old movie. She's a poison-filled assassin. He's a ninja.
That's
Just
Ninja
as
Scroll.
Naruto. Everything is Naruto.
Ninja Scroll. She's a poison-filled assassin.
Okay.
Yep, that's who. Because like there's a dude in Ninja Scroll who's got like a beehive in his humpback, and he like
Yeah,
sets them on.
that's
So
Ninja Scroll.
Mm-hmm.
It was the
that
blue
one.
girl.
That's exactly what's remembering.
So
Is
basically, we got
exactly what it's reminding me of.
okay. So he has an existence where he feeds off of varmints and critters, and he just has them living in him.
I think he lives off of rats and has varmints and critters as a weapon in his back pocket.
That's so bizarre.
I don't know.
He would be absolutely amazed at how fast people will tend to run, even kindred, when confronted by
A horde of creepy crawlies with one
Mhm.
mind. Yes. Yes. Speaking as
Yeah,
somebody who
I've used that on
met-
kids before.
Ugh.
So, what is the now that you have exited Carlos's alley and sworn not to come back?
Let's go back and talk to this. Well, let's head the direction where we know that they were running toward, I guess.
Let's go past the TV shop.
Mhm.
So as you go past the repair shop, there's nothing here that particularly, there's no trail of blood to follow. There's no smell.
Are there
It's
any
been-
cameras outside the shop?
No. This shop has looks like a camera that is focused on the door, so it can see people who are coming in, but it is not externally facing.
There's none from inside that look like they're pointing out. Okay.
No, and in fact,
Walking.
this place is seems to be very, very security conscious. You can't even go in the front door without having somebody ring you in.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
like most of New Orleans.
he ran by. You saw him run by.
Let's keep going in the direction he was going.
Sounds
See if
good.
we can see anything else in the area. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and pass this along to the Tremere if I can.
So you're going to call. You have John Batiste number, so you could text him this if you want.
I will text him. I will text him this.
So while you guys are walking down the street, Vic, your phone rings. It's Romano.
Hey, what's up?
He goes, "Hey boss, you weren't expecting anybody, were you? No special guests tonight. Nothing like that.
No, not that anyone told me about.
Okay, now you sure? No VIPs, nothing like that.
No.
Who's at the door?
Who's there?
You didn't
Have
forget to send out for like a stripper or something.
No, have we seen these? I take it these are not people you've seen before?
You hear him kind of cover up the phone, and you hear him kind of stepping through the crowd a little bit. He goes, "There's a limo here, and the chauffeur says it's for you."
The chauffeur says it's for me.
Yeah.
Kind of busy at the moment. I don't know what to say. I wasn't expecting anybody tonight. I don't.
Yes. Do you want me to try to tell them that they need to come back, or what do you want me to do?
They say who they are, because I'm not just going to step into a limo like not knowing where I'm going or who's taking me. I'm sorry.
He says they didn't say, but they said it was for you, and they said it was important.
Well, if it's important, they can get a hold of me somehow, and we make some sort of arrangement. But
Yeah, give them my number. Tell them to call like normal ass people.
He goes, okay, I'll tell him. He goes, I'll tell him you'll you'll be back later, I guess.
I might feel like you're missing a grand adventure.
Vic, do you have like something like set up like a while ago that you were like, I'm gonna meet up with you guys, like Hekate wise?
No, we found out that
Okay.
the Hekate are looking into me, though. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay then.
Interesting.
So Romano hangs up. So you guys are just walking down the road.
What would be the most direct connection from here to the river?
You could theoretically, if you just kept walking down the street, you would eventually run into the river. You might have to take some side streets to kind of get around in some areas and things like that. But more or less, if you continued walking in the direction you would end up at the river. You would also be ending up in the river in approximately, you think, maybe right around where Threnodi's old bar used to be. So not necessarily the most friendly of locales.
Did we bring any flyers? I mean, we are really pursuing some meager threads here. I mean, if we're going to continue this, we could just go to the river and see if anything happens between now and the river. Otherwise, we don't have a lot of information. I mean, right now, even what Carlos gave us ain't that great. The Owl's premonitions have done all the work so far.
Yeah, but if it wasn't for what Carlos gave us, we wouldn't actually have those premonitions. We wouldn't have been in that alley, like doing like sending out a premonition kind of thing.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean,
we have passed everything on to the Tremere, and at this point, how far away are we, and what time of the night is it?
It is, let's say, 12:30, 1 o'clock, something like that. You're a decent ways away. You guys have been walking for a bit. So yeah, so you're not exactly like turning around and going back to the club. It'd probably be faster to either get a cab or get an Uber or something like that than it would be to walk.
Are we going to pursue this anymore, or are we done until we get more info?
I don't know. I mean, here's another Shaw connection though too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if Shaw wasn't down at Threnodi's,
and he's now messing around on our territory again.
Well, only thing I could think of without any other information is we get to the river and see if Al can have another premonition at the river. Otherwise, we probably need more info before we do anything else.
Right, and we're not talking about the river through the Sabat held territory or the Cam held territory. We're talking about the river that comes out of the park. Yes? No?
No.
We're talking about the main river.
About the river down by
over here.
Right, like about here.
Yeah.
Is that anywhere close to the warehouses?
No, the warehouses when you went were up here.
There. Okay, up north side.
And considering that this is not our territory and we are still kind of got like lots of targets on us.
Is there somebody we could get, some kind of clearance or alliance just for the time being?
With the Sabat or the Cam?
Well, that's just Cam turf, looks like. I mean, either we go or we don't. I don't think we asked anybody's permission. If we want to go, we go. If we don't,
yeah, we just go. We just keep a low profile.
Well, it's up to you.
We could go back, or we could jump in a car and go there and see if there's a premonition at the river. Otherwise, I mean, what other information do we have right now?
Yeah, I mean, we can totally call an Uber.
I mean, if we are now like in front of the TV place, this would be a new scene and would be a good chance to try another premonition, see if you can pick up the last one where the last one left off.
As I would say, as storyteller, this is still close enough to you where you were originally were that it's still basically the same scene.
Okay, so like this was, I don't know if you answered this or not. What time of the night is it?
It's like 12:30, 1 a.m.
Okay. And it would take us how long to get to the river?
You could probably walk down to the river and probably keep it in mind that you guys are kindred. You're not going to get tired. You could keep up a good, decent pace. You could probably get there in probably half hour, 45 minutes, walking through all of downtown.
So do we think, I know this is purely conjecture, but do we actually think that she chased Shaw through downtown?
I do not know. But I think at this point, it's better to go back home and tend to ourselves in the rest of the evening than following down this lead. We have a direction and we have an input and information. We know where to pick up tomorrow if we need to.
Also realize we're on a huge countdown timer because we're still sitting on all this information that's supposed to take down the can.
Exactly. So like we got to go back and like handle some shit before we like. I guess I still want to go public before it goes public.
Okay.
I guess I'm down to head back to the club. You guys are on board with that?
Yeah.
At least for now, because even if we decide to go somewhere else, it'd be faster to go by car than walking.
Exactly.
So at least go back to the club and regroup. And if we decide to go somewhere else, then we go by car.
Great. Like, I'm glad we like explored our area and got some leads. It's more than we had before.
So you guys head back to the club. When you get back there, it takes you about a half hour tops to get back to the club. The limo is still parked out in front of the club with a driver. He is dressed head to toe in black on black on black on black. He's wearing a bowler hat that is pulled down a little bit too far over his head, and his clothes are a little too big for him. His body is a little too thin. He has a perpetual smile on his face that is completely mirthless. And his head is on a swivel. He's very obviously looking around, looking for something. So, when you guys come up and you see this, you are far enough away and you have enough previous information here that you could, in fact, if you wanted to, you could go around the apartments and into the apartments, or go down through the alley and into the club and avoid this.
Yeah, try that. I might also be able to go into the apartments and then use unseen passage and just walk to the club that way.
I mean, you certainly could do that if you wanted.
Still use the same route, but double my chances.
If you want, while you guys do that, I go right up to the driver and ask him who he is and why he wants you.
All right. I'm going to let the Chaos Child go be the Chaos Child.
So Idaho, you're going to head straight for the chauffeur. Vic, you are attempting to not go anywhere near the chauffeur.
Correct.
Michael, Al, what are you guys doing?
Well, If Vic is taking the sideways and going around, I'm just gonna just watch the interaction from a distance, see what the hell happens.
Okay, so you're gonna walk up to the front, but you're not going to actually go up to the
Oh,
chauffeur.
I'm gonna stay at the corner of the building. I'm not even walking up to the front. I'm from a far away part, like where the alleyway entrance is.
She's blink distance away.
Yeah, in case I need some backup.
Al, what are you doing?
I kind of want to, like, just dawdle up behind Idaho and just be like,
Do it, do it, do it.
just hover, just the little sister syndrome. I'm gonna follow him over here now.
Okay, so then the scene has split three ways. As Vic has gone through the back alley and into the club, Michael, you are hanging out by the corner, watching this as Idaho and Al are going up to the chauffeur. Correct? Just making sure that I have the
Yes.
scene as it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something just occurred to me. Okay, I'm making the huge assumption that Victor shared the phone call with all of us.
No, I was there. I mean, I was talking on the phone with you guys. So I mean,
He does almost
yeah,
everything
sure.
speaker because he can't read text.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good to go.
So when you guys walk up to him, Idaho, the smell.
Hecate?
Yes, it is a dead, fetid smell. But this guy smells maybe worse than anybody else of them, the rest of them that you've smelled. Like this guy doesn't just smell like a fresh grave. He smells like somebody has exhumed a corpse. Like it is
Delicious.
awful in your nose.
So he's a kindred.
Oh yeah. He when you guys walk up, his head is still on a swivel looking around, but it slows and stops when he sees you. And then he's just staring at you as you're standing there. Like he doesn't say anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'll walk relatively close and I'll basically say, so are you guys here for Vic?
The chauffeur, yes. Yes, I am. Is he here?
No, he's not. Is there anybody else in the limo?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah, that's why I asked. Wouldn't you like to know where Vic is?
You should get him.
I don't know. I mean, I can't make Vic do anything that Vic doesn't want to do. I mean, have you seen the guy?
His smile seems to stretch even a little further. He goes, I know someone who could.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure Vic is going to go anywhere with you guys without knowing what this is all about.
He looks at you and gives like a really long, slow blink. And then his head kind of goes back to looking around. And even as he's looking away from you, he goes, we'll see.
Okay. Does Carmine know you're here?
Oh, yes.
All right. Okay. Thanks. And then I'll just head on.
Al, what are you doing during all of this?
Sense the unseen.
Well, I imagine whatever we want to see is in limo. It's not like I'm gonna have access to that.
Yeah, and the limo is blacked out.
Yeah. I think that I would just be kind of parroting Idaho and just trying to make everything extra comical. And right before he walks off, I basically look at the guy and flip him the bird and laugh maniacally and pin his face and walk away.
When you do that, he looks at you and his smile kind of fades off his face. He goes, "You should be careful, child of Valkov."
Hmm.
Child of Valkov.
Really? And why is that? Because from here, you just look like you're trying to be a comedian.
He goes, "There are some mirrors you don't want to look behind. You might be afraid of what you see."
Such vague threats.
I mean, I'm still there because I wouldn't have walked away without Alan. I'm just going to kind of look at the guy and say, yes, everybody can say that about everybody. I mean, what the hell, man?
And yes.
Ready to go
Mr.
in?
Vague over here. Deuce, bye. And let's just go. Don't even give him the pleasure of
walk
saying
away.
anything else. Just fucking walk.
Like
In
everybody's
step, you and me, like,
everybody's a freaking vampire fortune cookie.
right?
You know? Yes, there's something out there you're afraid of. Yes, there's something out there you wouldn't like. Yeah, no shit.
There are people who are in line who've been watching this whole thing that are like, what the fuck?
So I'm gonna lean down to Al and go, okay, I'm gonna distract him while you get in the car, all right?
I mean, that is such a daredevil thing to do, Idaho. If that's actually the plan you want to go for, I would be willing to give you a reasonably large bonus to your roll.
Oh man, but man, can you imagine? Or you distract him and I'll go try to get in the car. Ooh. Oh,
At this
hell,
point, with the crowd looking at us, over this, I just kind of, after realizing that we're being stared down, I'm like, sorry, we don't let trash in the club.
I just also want to point out that as going by your clan's bane, the more death-defying it is the bigger the bonus to the success. So I will let you gauge how much danger you may be putting yourself in.
I don't want to get run over again.
Well, that was a different game. Different game.
Doesn't matter. I got run over.
I haven't killed a player in this game yet.
My crazy idea, if we did it, would be for you to distract him, and I was just going to walk and see if the front door was unlocked and just get into the limo. Then I'd be able to see who's in the back of it.
If you jump you're talking about the passenger side in the front by the driver, correct?
No, like I would get in the driver's seat. Okay, wait a minute. This is what is in my mind. Maybe I'm wrong. He pulled the limo up in front of the club. Did he pull the limo up in such a way that he's now standing outside the driver's door, or he's standing outside the passenger's door?
He is standing outside of the door to let somebody into the back.
So he's not by the driver's seat. So that's why I was thinking, how funny would it be if you distracted him and I just went and tried to check the other side of the limo, see if it's unlocked, and just slip in and see who's in there. Yeah, it's hugely risky, but I'm assuming I at least would have time to get out if I needed to.
You assume.
Yeah, but I guess we're not going to do it because Al didn't want to.
I didn't say that much.
I mean, let's be
I
real,
was just going to bring up how would Michael react if this goes south. That's all I'll bring up.
All right, we'll move on.
Clans tendencies are clans tendencies, though.
This is true.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Hell, I don't even have to get in the limo. If the door's unlocked, I can just open it and peek inside. I'm just curious who's in there.
Hey, you want to roll on it? I'm not sure though. I have high enough.
So Al would distract him, and I would just basically go to the other side of the car and see if the doors are unlocked.
So here is something to keep in mind: is you are in full view of Kine.
Yeah.
So any sort of supernatural anything is basically out of the question unless you're willing to risk a masquerade breach.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna. I'm actually was kind of thinking that might work in my favor because it would also technically, unless they were willing to breach the masquerade, it would prevent them from doing anything as well.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fair assessment.
I mean, I just basically my whole thing was thinking in my brain when the chauffeur got out of the limo, did he lock the limo, or is the limo unlocked? And I could just walk around to the other side and open the door and peek inside. Now I might just peek inside to an empty limo, and then this was all just for fun.
I will say that the limo is off, so he has the keys on him.
Yes, it could be locked though. But I was just willing to go around to the other side if he's distracted and just try to open a door.
So, okay, so
Might as well.
sorry, what are you guys going to do? Are you guys going to do it, or are you going to back off?
If Al wants to distract him, I'll give it a shot.
I can try.
Okay, Al, how are you going to attempt to distract the chauffeur?
Probably in just having a back and forth. It's obvious he likes to talk. He likes to cut others down. So feeding into that and just kind of having a back and forth.
Poking the bear.
Just not necessarily poking, but just giving him back what he's dishing out.
Okay, so you are going to...
Maybe my streetwise?
I would have probably said...
Some Yo Mama jokes.
I would probably have said performance over streetwise, and it's going to be your charisma. Now, you're going to need to get a fairly high roll here, which hasn't been a problem for you tonight so far. But you are going to need a fairly high roll to distract him, as he is a kindred and his head is on a swivel.
Yeah, but it's not 360 degrees.
She can't click the buttons with her right hands over her eyes.
Click, click, click.
Hmm?
Okay, so
You're gonna spend a willpower to re-roll one of those?
I was going to say, before I say anything, do you want to spend a willpower to see if you can re-roll that one die for an additional success?
Yes. Oh.
All right.
Go 10. Oh, it's one a success. I was hoping for a 10, which would have been another crit.
Crit.
Still 5 is pretty damn good. Shit.
Hey, I'll take it.
So 5. When you... So how do you... Okay, so tell me how you... Because you guys basically made it like you walked off again.
Yeah.
So how are you going to restart this up?
Well, that's up to Al. She's going to go back, and I'm going to try to disappear down the crowd or something to come back around a different way.
Probably try to kind of act like a question has just occurred to me. I swivel around to him, face him, and I think I'm just gonna keep dragging out the why do you want Vic? Why is Vic so special? Like, you won't say who he's special to, but he's so fucking important to you.
When you say that, the smile comes back and he goes, "It's not Vic who's special. It's who's special to Vic."
Wow, you're a fount of knowledge, aren't you?
He goes, "Oh, you have no idea." Idaho, I need you to roll your dex and your. It doesn't matter. They're both. I'll say subterfuge. I'll give you the additional die because you were attempting to.
Nice. And do I get to add? Now you said because this is my clan thing, I could add to it, right?
I will indeed give you 2 additional die for this.
So modifier is 2.
Yep. Before I say anything.
Yeah. I'll do willpower for this. This is fun. I'll do this one.
Okay.
So I can re-roll 3.
Yep. You can reroll up to 3.
Okay, cool.
So you sneak around the car. When you creep up, you notice that there are a couple looky-loos in the line who are watching you real carefully.
Okay.
And you're having to be like, yeah, exactly.
Basically, the whole thing is this is me kind of acting like Idaho from the Cyberpunk game. Like I'm just kind of making sure the guy is focused on Al, and then I'm just kind of walking around and walking up like I'm supposed to be there, and I'm going to try to open one of the doors. But yeah, the people that are watching me, I'm just like, but I'm not taking too long. You know, I don't want.
So when you walk up, the door gives, no problem. The inside of it is plush. It is fancy. However, there is a divider between the.
Oh, can I re-say? I was okay. In my mind, I was coming up from behind, like we had walked down the street, and I was coming up from toward the rear. Because
Okay.
I wanted to try the rear door first before the driver's side.
Okay, that's locked.
Okay. Shit, so I get to peek inside. At first, I try the rear door. It's locked, and I get to peek inside the driver's side, and there's a divider, and it's up.
Yeah, the divider is up.
That was my worry.
The only thing is that your nose is. The smell in here is a different fetid smell.
Is it a familiar one?
It is indeed familiar. But there's also something else here. It's a cloyingly sweet smell. You're not really sure what it is.
That's what's her name, isn't it? I mean, I realize I can't answer that question, but okay.
That's
That's
what's
the one.
name?
The one with the fangs. You know what I'm talking about.
From the movie that time.
With the head and the hands.
Right. So with that information, I'm just going to shut the door and decide that at this point I've gotten all I can, and I might as well try to not get caught. And I'm just going to smooge on by Al and kind of say, "Let's go inside."
Check before you do. Check the glove compartment. See if you can get anything.
What do you think?
Mike, while you were watching all this, what are you doing?
I'm just like honestly just like watching it and looking around the club and looking at the incoming people. While I'm sitting there and seeing the struggle that like Al and Idaho are getting into, I'm gonna go ahead and do a sense the unseen.
That is wits and aspects.
And at this point, I think it's 4 and 1 or 5 and 1.
You're lucky enough that a popcorn vendor strolls right up next to you, so you can have something to snack on while you're watching.
Vomit the popcorn
Not
everywhere.
And not Brad Pitt. Thank you very much.
Act like you're eating it. What beside your face? Domestic mirror eater. Victoria door.
Oh wait, no, I just. Jeez. Okay. Well, I'm a little silly.
Okay, so if you go to on the thing, if you go to your disciplines and you pull your aspects down, the one that says sense the unseen, if you go to the one that's next to discipline, so it says wits discipline, on the same line as sense the unseen, if you click that on the end, it'll roll it for you.
All right, there we go. And submit. I just want to know what the roll is because I like the. Did it happen?
Did it ask you for
I
a
did the
modifier?
thing. I mean, I entered the right one.
Is it dead? Let me check it. Did we die? Are you
What would
fucking
that-
kidding me? We got all this way and then now it died? Okay.
I even did it for the subterfuge.
Yeah, rouse isn't working
Right.
either.
Be right back.
Wow. I think that should be an
Ooh,
automatic
shit.
critical success. That's what I'm thinking.
Right?
Every time
I agree.
has to be rebooted, we get an automatic crit.
Hey, easy there. Hey, Callie, quit it.
Of course,
You
knowing
don't have to
Knox,
moderate now.
that actually means it's automatic critical failure. Oh, there it goes.
And
Way to
that's
go, Vic.
delayed. It's delayed. Look at
Yeah.
that. When you
Oh,
reset the API, all the rolls that were being made popped up at one time.
Did they really?
So yeah, so
Oh
you're
my
exactly
god,
right.
yeah.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Mine didn't come up at all.
Yeah, it's up there.
yeah, it's right after mine, I think.
Yeah, you don't
See if I
you don't
can-
see anything.
I don't. No. But like, I don't even see anything now.
Oh, if you go, it's fairly far up there. Like you have to go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls up.
Yeah, after my re-roll for my
One-
willpower.
One second. I have to reset.
Yeah. Vic, while you are in the club, what are you doing?
I was just waiting for everyone else to come into the club. I didn't know they were going to make such a big scene outside. I thought it was coming into the club.
I mean, at this point, if I didn't see anything and I didn't see anything like anywhere, then I was just gonna like head into the club from the back.
Okay, so you're heading into the club from the back. Vic, what are you doing inside?
Just chilling in the office, just waiting for. I figured we'd all be regrouping in the office to figure out our next move for the night. So I'm just chilling, waiting.
Okay, so you're in the office, waiting for Michael to get there. Michael, what do you're heading in? You head to the office too, as well, I'm guessing. Okay. Idaho, Al, where do you go next?
Inside to regroup unless.
Yeah, office.
Okay,
Or-
so everyone has regrouped in the office. What next?
I'm going to tell them what I picked up on in the interior, as far as the smell of the Hecate, but the cloyingly sweet. And I'm going to say, I don't remember, but what was the girl's name? Ariel?
Adelaide?
No, the female. Remember that when we ran into
Oh,
that
there was
one,
an Ariel. Yeah.
she took us to dinner that time. Remember, and there was that
Oh.
the woman Hecate, and I thought she had a cloying sweet smell. I'm not sure if I'm remembering that correctly or not. Anybody else remember?
What she
her?
look like again?
She looked like a Hecate. I don't remember. I don't remember who all. If it was all of us.
And I know I didn't smell it, but by Idaho's description,
I'm not even sure if I'm right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if there's some reason for Knox to step in, great. But if not, we're just gonna have to figure it out on our own, I guess. But say it smelled Hecate. It was not the driver, right? I mean, I at least could tell the difference between the driver, and it was very cloyingly sweet. And I thought that's what that one lady Hecate smelled like. But I don't. Maybe I'm wrong.
Vic, roll your intelligence and
Browse the blood.
and awareness.
Is that like the hardest roll for Vic? Come on, that's not very nice.
I can re-roll 2.
Would you like to re-roll your 2?
Sure, why not?
Like really hard.
Yeah.
Focus.
Thinking.
Doesn't sound familiar. Maybe it sounds familiar. You don't know. You don't remember Ariel smelling like that. You remember Ariel smelling dead.
What about me?
You can't. You can't. Are you? Hold on. Let me rephrase this. Are you rolling to remember what Ariel smells like?
No, I'm trying to remember if I've heard somebody described like that before.
I would say you don't have the relevant information here.
Got it.
But I will tell them that, okay, the conversations we had, we asked, he said they're there for Vic, and he was being very coy and weird. And then I said, does Carmine know you're here? And he said, yes. So.
Okay.
Oh, and then he said some weird shit to me when I was
Yeah.
like fucking with them, and he was, I said, well, why is Vic so important? And he said that it's not that Vic's important, it's who's important to Vic.
What could they mean by that, Vic? Who are your touchstones?
Well, we don't call them that, in game, but
Who are the most important humans to you that they could use as levers against you?
Yeah.
And why?
Probably the ex-wife and the kid.
I mean, we have a way to contact Carmine because we've talked to him before on the phone. So since Carmine is the leader of the Hecate and Michael's the Baron of Philly, why don't you just give him a call and say,
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Your limo's out here. Why are you looking for Vic?
Diplomacy.
So I pick up the phone and on speaker I call Carmine.
It rings and rings. Doesn't pick up.
I leave a message, say, Carmine, my friend, there seems to be one of your limo drivers out front waiting for one of my coterie. Very confused about the situation, and so is he. Give me a call if we can clarify things up. Make everybody happy. And I hang up.
All right. So, what is the next step for our coterie tonight?
I could send like 1,000 rats up the tailpipe of that limo.
That'd be funny.
I was gonna say, what are you trying to do? Kill the rats?
Car running?
I mean, to be fair, like I don't want to fuck with the
Set them up. All of a sudden, start hearing screams as the exhaust heat starts to broil them alive. Like everybody starts outside in line, starts screaming, be like, "What the fuck?
What? You never been to a rat roast?
We're the most popular club in town. Well, if that, I guess, unless there's some other stuff for us to discuss in the room, I'm just going to wander through the club and see who's here.
Okay, so Idaho, you're just going to head off to start wandering around.
Yeah, unless there's something Michael wants us to talk about or do.
Okay.
Is this about to be Pan's Labyrinth here?
Yeah. I'm going to go. Will this enhance my awareness if I go around like this?
Oh, no, sorry, guys. I'm just having a bit of a headache.
It's okay. Sorry.
Sorry. It's cherry blossom season, which means everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep, noticed that when I was driving.
It's definitely been a lot of sinus headaches lately because, yeah, tree pollen in my face doesn't work. Sorry about that.
So, Idaho, you're going to go wander around the club. Vic, what are you doing?
I guess I'm staying in the club for now.
No, Vic, I'd like to stay with Vic and like go over things with him regarding the Hecate, like see like if we can figure out who's really important to him, what kind of conversations he had with the Hecate when they were here. They like implied it like
out of game. I would have let you know when we first became acquainted. What was I got turned in New York, and that was basically why I left. but I left behind a wife and a stepchild.
Yeah.
And I just ghosted them,
Yeah.
went out for a pack of smokes and never came back. So those would be my touchstones out of game, but
Okay.
Vic isn't making this probably isn't making the connection very well in game, because in his mind, like, he left that life. He doesn't have a vamp life in New York. His vamp life started in Philly. Like,
Right. So my question is, what would Vic say is the most important to him right now? Like, if he's forgetting his old life, like, what would he say?
Like, you guys are the most important thing to me. This coterie, that this coterie is the most important thing to me right now. So,
Okay, Al, what are you doing?
At this point, I would probably wander down to Robin's bar, see what the progress is being made there, and since we've all been out for the evening, I'd probably go and check each bar just to make sure if anybody needs change or
So when you get to Robin's bar, it is
kegs.
actually even though it is not fully functional, she is still running kind of half bar up there. There's a bunch of people there, and when she sees you, she kind of excitedly beckons you over.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come over, she's like, "Have you seen Idaho?"
No, hon. We made it inside and then went our separate ways.
He's dead.
Again.
She kind of looks like sad and dejected. She's like, but I don't know. It's this really weird feel, like I miss him.
He's a fun guy to be around, and I'm sure he'll be
wait till
around
you
at
meet
some point. We
She
don't want to start Jerry Springer up in here.
she kind
I'm
of
not
looks.
there.
She looks a little sad. She's like, "Oh, okay. Well, if you see him, can you tell him I'm looking for him?
Anything in particular?
Just that I'd really like to see him." And she gets on like this really big smile.
If I see him, I'll let him know.
Thank you. When you head down to
That's what I'm worried about, Vic.
when you head downstairs, you get to Lane's bar, and Lane is busy, like really busy.
Mm.
And when she sees you, she kind of throws a "what the fuck" face.
Can I help you?
She goes, "Yeah, where's your girlfriend?"
Oh, Jesus.
Well, last I knew, she was with you opening the bar.
No, we split off to open our own bars, and then she decided to walk off her fucking bar about 20 minutes ago.
Anything go down? Something with a customer?
She goes, "I don't know. I've been over here dealing with this. The only reason I even know about that is because somebody mentioned that the bar over there is empty."
Okay. Yeah, no, just I'm sure you're already doing your best. I will go supervise that bar for now and try to message her, see what we can figure out. Thank you for letting me know. I'm sorry it had to end up like this. You have my number.
She goes, been swamped.
Okay. I just don't want attitude for something that I didn't know about. But yeah, I'll head to her bar, look for clues, text her ass.
Tell Michael.
Tell
Michael.
When you get
Tell
to
Michael.
when
I
you
need to
get
go
to the
see how
bar,
bad my bar is, do I not?
when you get there, there are customers there that are regulars there who are super happy to see you. They're like, "Hey, something going on?" Um, Slade is at the end of the bar, and he kind of shoots you kind of a look.
How did I know? Yeah, at that look on his face, I would shoot out a group text saying, like, Ruby is MIA. If you see her, send her to me, back to her bar, to me immediately. And at this point, I'll go talk to Slade and see what that look meant.
So can
The
I just
moment that
interject real fast?
the moment that message comes in, me and Vic are sitting in the office. We're gonna start going over security cams.
Okay, so
And Idaho, sorry, I didn't mean to
Idaho,
interrupt you.
what are you doing?
My question was just the group text. Ruby has access to the group text. She's in the group phone, right?
Correct.
So she did not respond to the group text or the text from Al.
No.
Okay.
When you go to, you have gone to see Moira, correct?
Oh, I went to try to find her.
Okay, you know where Moira is. She's at the apartments in the office there. So
Okay.
when you head over there, what did you want to talk to her about?
Actually, of course, now that this where's Ruby thing is cropped up, this really doesn't seem that important anymore. But I was going to ask her about the idea that I had not too long ago about finding some other dogs to ghoul.
Moira is, when she hears that, she kind of nods and she's like, "What are you looking for?"
Okay, I'm kind of having a deja vu. Did we not have this conversation? I thought we already started this.
That does sound familiar.
And I was like, keep an eye out for dogs that are like, medium to large size, and that
You
I
were
can,
telling her to check the pounds and stuff?
yeah, so that we can have basically a pack of guard dogs that'll be at the apartment all the time.
I think you guys had that discussion. I don't think you had the discussion with her.
Okay, well then let's get the ball rolling. So I'll tell her that.
Okay, so she's like, "Is there any particular breeds you're looking for, or is it just kind of a general blanket?"
Yeah, I figure once I ghoul them, that's going to take care of it. I just would like them to be a reasonable size, so a medium to large would be great, more toward the large end.
Okay, she goes, "How many?"
I mean,
she's
one
like,
at a time.
She's like, because we can. I mean, she goes, "If you're just looking for a blanket of fucking dogs," she's like, "I mean, we can go 101 Dalmatians in here. Like, we can send each of the ghouls and Ruby to each of the different like pounds in town, and all of them can adopt. And it's going to take time, but I mean, she's like, but if doing this, even over the course of a month, she's like, I mean, we're going to have 30 or 40 dogs here, which is going to lead to all sorts of other questions about how we're going to take care of them and how you're going to take care of them." But
right. Well, we don't need that many because that would be too much trouble. But let's shoot for like 5 or 6 until we see what happens. I mean, we can always put a stop to it when we feel like we have enough or when we have too many.
Go for 4 teams of 2.
okay, she goes, "Okay, I can put a pin in that." And she goes, "What else? How's the car working out?" She goes, she's like, "Do you want me to?" She goes, "Do you want me to send somebody to clean the apartment yet, or are you happy with it like that, or
with my apartment?"
Remember,
yeah.
it's Kai's paintings are still all over it.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with that. I want that to stay there. But the wrecker, I'll tell her about my trip to the wrecker and show her the pictures and say, it looks like the cops probably aren't caring about it anymore. We should probably get over there and clean it up.
She goes, "I will." She goes, "I'll send Clyde and Rhea over there." She goes, "I'm sure that they'll bitch." She goes, "And I will also get in touch with our lawyer and see just to make sure everything's on the up and up."
Yeah. Yeah, there was no yellow crime scene tape when I got there. Not sure what that means.
So, when you get out of Moira's, or is there anything else?
I mean, I'm assuming eventually the group text is going to come on that Ruby's missing, and that's going to be all hands on deck.
Okay.
There was
really nothing
relay that to Moira.
Well, she's in the group text too, right?
Yes. When you get out of Moira's office, you feel the mention of Kai and her artwork, and the thought of cleaning it off kind of gives you a compulsion to go see it, to go check, to head to your apartment, check on Brutus
Yeah. I don't know where he is.
at the apartment.
Wandering around. Well, where like specifically? Yeah. I'll find him and then head to the apartment.
So when you get up to the apartment, the door is locked. You unlock it, and the lights are completely out. It is pitch black in there.
Okay. I will flick the switch.
I was gonna say Brutus starts to growl.
Oh, geez. Do I smell anything?
It smells like the ocean here.
Well, I'm going to flick on the light.
When you flick on the light, there is across the entire room. It is in letters that are maybe 5 feet tall each. And in that same caps script, it says 2 words. Help me.
Holy fuck. That's not what I was expecting. The same cap script is like the one we saw at the warehouse?
On the paper of
on
the
your
windshield.
With a note.
On your paper.
Yeah, from the warehouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shizballsies. Is there any particular, can I tell why I am smelling it like it smells like the ocean, or is that just a smell and I don't know why it's there?
You have no idea.
And is Brutus still growling?
Yes, he is not happy.
Say,
Growling
okay.
at what though?
Yeah, now I'm just kind of like, what's he growling at? So we're going to check the entire apartment, see if there's anything else going on in there.
Okay. While you're checking the apartment, Vic and Michael, what are you guys doing?
I mean, the moment the text message comes in, we would have been sitting there like trying to figure out anything like what he's going there. Yeah, and if the moment the text message came in, if that's what happened, then we'd be going through security footage, seeing if we could see what happened, who was with Ruby, where she went, who talked to her, etc.
Al, you get a private text from Ruby. It just says, having a human problem. Can you come help?
Of course. Where are you?
She goes, I'm home.
The apartment, question mark?
Comes back, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll text everybody that I got a message back from Ruby. I'm heading to the apartments.
So when you head over and you head to the apartments and you head walking up to the door, you have a migraine. Like it starts behind your sinuses. It goes behind, over your eyes. And it's not just you. Like all of the voices in your head that are whispering perpetually in the background, all of them seem to be affected by it too. When you open the door, Ruby is pinned against the wall by what looks like a literal shadow that is wrapped around her neck.
Not something I could get a shot at.
And as you walk in, Mariah steps out of the kitchen and says, "We need to talk."
So talk.
And that is where our session, though certainly not our chronicle, for this evening.
Who's Mariah?
Scourge.
Scourge.
Oh my God, I will never freaking remember her name. Never.
I know.
Never,
I know.
never.
Which kind of works out because last session we were like, if we could find a way of contacting her, that might actually be beneficial.
Yeah, this wasn't the way we wanted to do it.
She showed
Hey.
up.
Well, that's how these crazy vampires, like, you could just pick up the phone. You don't have to threaten our people.
No shit.
Not the way the vamps work.
Keep in mind that Ruby is certainly under Mariah's purview with what she has been tasked to do.
Well, yeah.
You've even had this discussion with her.
Yes, we have.
Mhm.
We told her to stay the fuck off our turf.
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
say
Lord.
that to her.
So,
I just tried to talk her out of her mania about the
Slaughtering of thin blood.
Mm.
So, with that, session 51 has ended.
Man.
nice.
Tomorrow is work on
We're
uploading
getting
YouTube,
good about like cliffhangers every week now.
right?
Right. I don't expect to actually end at the end of the night ever.
Right.
That dream has been shattered like a whole
So do I have time to take
10 sessions ago.
some like breakfast taquitos in there and give it to the Scourge? Like, hey, let's chill, let's have fun.
Well, thanks you guys for a fantastic session, as always.
XP has been awarded.
I want to thank everybody, Knox, Scott, Zach, and Martha for being here tonight. As always, we have an amazing time entertaining you guys. If you've been listening in and you haven't dropped a follow yet, please consider doing so. Subs and bits and donations are always greatly appreciated and go right back into streaming. Stick around and we'll get you out, rated out to a friend. So, bye.
See you next Murder Monday.